All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network and around the world on the Starcom Radio Network. If you'd like to give us a call, toll-free worldwide, 800-610-7035 is the magic number. Our email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And our main website, where you can listen to the show live, as well as listen to repeats that we have playing throughout the day at no charge. www.xzoneradiotv.com. X Zone Nation, we have royalty in the house tonight. Joining me is Her Royal Majesty, the Queen of the Paranormal. And I have to say, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, so just bear with me. Kadrolsha Ona?
That's really close. Thank you.
All right, how would you say it?
I would say it Kadrolsha Ona.
Kadrolsha.
You roll the R. Kadrolsha Ona.
Kadrolsha Ona. Kadrolsha
Yeah, it sounds
Ona.
kind of like a vampire thing.
It sounds
From Transylvania.
It sounds very, very, very interesting. How are you, my dear friend?
Hey, how are you, my dear friend? I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. It's been a while since we've chatted, and I was so excited when you asked me to come on the air again, and I'm like, this is great.
Well,
this is wonderful.
I've got to share a secret with you. You're one of my favorite people. You're one of my favorite people.
Really?
Yeah, really, because you're out there. You're doing so many things. You're making a difference in so many lives. You're bringing so much positivity and energy to the world. You're helping people. And if that doesn't make someone a favorite person to another person, I don't know what is.
That's really nice of you to say. I appreciate that more than you know. I've always raised my kids to, give back to the community and to just be nice and get to know your neighbor and help out. I think we all can learn something from being kind and offering a smile now and then. You can't have a bad day if you're smiling. It just doesn't happen.
Plus, you can't have a day if you wake up above the ground.
Yes, that's right. Maybe we'll do something positive with it.
Yeah, this is the only show where you can actually get away with that. So I have to ask you this. When the change to the Queen of the Paranormal? When did this happen?
Well, this is something I have been, I got the name the Queen of the Paranormal in 2007. Mm-hmm. When I was doing a radio show, a gentleman called in and he says, I don't exactly know what we were talking about, but it ended up being, I'm going to call you the Queen of the Paranormal. And I said, oh, I really like that. What girl wouldn't want to be the queen?
Oh, sure.
And it stuck. So I used it on, posters, CC Carole or CC the Huntress, Queen of the Paranormal. And the Kadrolsha Ona is my Polish given name.
Right.
It means, it translated, it's Carolyn Ann. And just like Mary Jane or Mary Ellen, Kadrolsha Ona, Carole being the last name with an E. But a lot of time people had, problems pronouncing the name, so we just said Cece for short. Mm-hmm. So we did Cece the Huntress adventure shows. We did a little over 85 of those for broadcast up here in New England. And then I decided that, I've been doing, Paracons, working with the Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International Crew and Ghost Hunters Academy. Anything to do with a ghost on TV, I was there working with them. So we do these Paracons and different events. And I was asked by a gentleman that had influence on a lot of these huge Comic-Cons, one of them being Chiller Theater in Parsippany, New Jersey. And his name is Gary Sommers. They call him the king of pop culture, and he was one of the stars on Antiques Roadshow. And he asked me, are you happy with what you're doing with, the Paracons where you have about 200 people the weekend or a day? Would you like to see, 10 to 30,000 a weekend or a day? And I said, oh, yeah, I want that. Growth and development. I did like my old management. I was with them for 5 years. You can only go so far.
Yeah.
And so I took a leap into this international realm, let's say, with these pop culture expos and large Comic-Cons. My first one was Chiller Theater as the Queen of the Paranormal. And I don't know if I can swear or not, but all SHIT hit the fan when that went up in the ghost hunting community.
Why?
Because, well, where'd you get the name Queen of the Paranormal? Did you, queen yourself that? And I'm thinking, I've been using that since 2007
Exactly.
on every. So, well, you're just noticing me now?
Whoa.
I just got a kick out of it, And so I was the first paranormal person to ever grace the stage of Chiller Theater, which is one of the largest and one of the first horror type and pop culture Comic-Con, these conferences.
Sure.
And it is enormous. And to be able to be on that was something that even the ghost hunters couldn't accomplish. And I did it with the help of a gentleman that he had to sell the idea to the guy, Kevin, who actually owns and runs Chiller Theater. And he took it hands down because his logic was, well, they do that for TV. You really are the real deal. He spent time talking to me and questioning me and reading about me, and he learned that, yeah, you actually really do this for a living. So he thought that I would be the better representative in the ghost hunting community for Chiller Theater. And from there, it's been every large event come down the pike, movie deals and the like. So it's been a lot of fun.
How many years have you been doing this now? I still want to call you CC. I've got to stop myself.
No, you can call me CC or you can call me KO. Now, KO is for Kadrolsha owner, but Bruce Tango from Ghost Hunters, he gave me that nickname because he calls me a knockout, like I could really throw a good punch.
No, dear. That's not why he calls you a knockout.
But I don't know. Him and I were both police officers, so
yeah, I know.
I think he's thinking more along something else. Bruce is a great guy, and so anyways, he gave me the KO. So CC or KO, that's fine.
Okay, KO.
Yeah. So what were you going to say?
I was asking you how many years you've been doing this now.
I've been saying like over 38 years, but you know what? It's probably 40 years or more, a little more, as far as actively pursuing research and really getting out there to try to find out answers. And not only that, but going out of the box with unique ways of maybe finding the spirits or using metaphysical principles to see if we can get a response. Always testing, always writing knowledge, always researching. For many, like I said, a little over 40 years. And I started out literally born into a family of dreaming, my grandmother and then her mother, and on down the line, all through Poland and into Russia, the generations of dream interpreters and spirit communicators. So I grew up thinking everybody could do this stuff. Like this is what it was. This is, you have a family of women surrounding you like that. That's what you think life is about. Until you come up north, well, that was in Rhode Island, and then when you come up this way into New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and you find out that you're an oddity, and peer pressure sets in, and you kind of quell it, And then you become your own individual and you just experiment more with it.
What has been the most dramatic and most breathtaking investigation that you've ever done, Cece? Or KO? KX? MOUSE?
LMNOPQRST. Say them all. Right ahead, Rob.
You know what? I'm sticking to CC. I'm sticking to CC.
You go right ahead. That's all. A lot of people do it, and that's fine too. That's great. Let me see. I've done some really wild things. We did it live as the camera's going, so there's no going back and fixing things in an edit, or you just can't. The camera's just running on you. And I would have to say my most unique and weirdest place I've ever been is the Hoosac Tunnel. And that's a train tunnel, 5 miles long between Orange, Massachusetts and North Adams, Massachusetts. And it goes through the Hoosick mountain range. It's the Hoosac Tunnel, Hoosick mountain range, and the Hoosick River, and the Deerfield River run on either side of it.
Sounds like something by Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, I know. I was the only person to have been granted permission to go through the entire tunnel. And to date, I know Ghost Adventures stood outside the tunnel. They were told not to go in, and ghost hunters were turned down. I believe that I was granted permission because I keep the integrity of where I'm doing my programming. I keep it factual based on history, and I'm not running out of the building screaming there are ghosts. We don't do anything like that to try to scare people. We keep to the facts. But it was a 5-mile journey from one end to the other with all these weird things happening. And when we got out of the tunnel, we had it timed because we had planned it and we had trained for how long it would take to go this far, then filming this long. And we came out 2 hours and something over the allotted time that we were supposed to be in the tunnel. And we were keeping track of time, and we didn't know where the time disappeared to. It was almost like a time warp. The time was gone, and we had no recollection of like being in slow motion, or we had regular. I don't even know how to explain it, Rob. We saw everything one way, but when we got out of the tunnel, it was 2 hours and 45 minutes later. It was like that time disappeared, and people say that's sort of like signs of an alien abduction.
Yeah, that's right.
And stuff like that. And I don't know where they took me, but I don't remember anything like that, and neither do my 2 sons that were with me. But I would have to say that was probably the most weirdest place ever. And with that time situation, that was totally unexplainable why that would happen.
What kind of haunting is there supposed to be in this tunnel?
Well, the tunnel was built, as a passageway to bring produce and open up commerce between the 2 areas. And there was a lot of deaths that happened in the building of the tunnel. I think 195 during the building itself and 30 thereafter from people like me going into the tunnel, trying to walk by when there's trains coming.
Sure.
That's why a lot of rumors, a lot of mysteries, a lot of Indian folklore. I mean, there's every story come down the pike. Now, what is real and what is not real, you have to discern. So we were staying with the facts as far as a basket being lowered into the center shaft, and they had it's not kerosene. They had a different type of flammable liquid that they used before that. They used kerosene, and it burnt the rope, and the whole basket fell down on top as tools. And with that, what had happened was that the whole tunnel filled up with water, and for 1 whole year, they closed the whole tunnel down. So that the water would, they could get the water out and stuff like that. And the bodies floated up 1 year later. So there's a lot of, I stayed to those facts. I did a blessing, and we did a healing, and left anointed oils, on the walls there. And that was our purpose, was to go in, see if we could find some evidence of paranormal activity, and then do a blessing and leave. And we accomplished it, and I still think about that often. That I would love to go back.
What did your investigation turn up?
Well, we turned up the typical orbs that are everywhere, and I don't have to go along with the belief that it could be dust, it could be this, it could be that.
Right.
I don't know. The conditions were extremely damp in there. We had a lot of water coming from the granite ceilings. It was in total pitch dark. It was not only damp in there, but it was kind of like diesel fuel floating in the air. So you actually see what I thought in these orbs were maybe oil. If it's diesel and it's captured, like in the moisture of it being so so damp in there, I would have to discredit all of those that we got, and we got them everywhere. And but we did have some very, very unusual Polaroid pictures taken. I took, in fact, when I started out doing the CC, the Hunter shows, and even before that with Ghost Stories Up New England for about 20 years, I would use a Polaroid camera because you can't mess with that in edit.
True.
And I would use, and because being a woman, you have to try harder, and I would present all of that to people. So I was using a Polaroid camera and was getting shadowings that didn't belong there at all for any reason. And that entire story, if you go to the website, you can watch a preview of it.
In your years that you've been either doing your television shows or your paranormal investigations, has there ever been one case that you worked on where it came close to you saying, "I'm out of here. This is way too much"?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. It was a place, and it's still there, and every time, and I have to drive by it to go to my P.O. box. So this is wild. It's called Tortilla Flats, and it's in Merrimack, New Hampshire. And we were on the second floor, and that's one of the CC the Hunter shows. We actually did that one live, and I kept brushing my arm, like something was banging on my arm. And when I rewatched the tape, I realized there were these big balls coming down and like flying by and hitting me in my shoulder where I was brushing it. But when we got to the top of the stairs, I don't know what, I'm really not afraid of much, but I got this feeling like, don't go in that room. And I couldn't figure out why, but I wasn't going to argue with it. And my son went in and filmed the room. He didn't feel anything, but I still, when I drive by, I look up into that room and just say, I'm never going to go in there. I don't even want to go in the restaurant anymore. It had gotten so bad. So that place unnerves me. It's part of the Underground Railroad. I found the entrance under the stairwell up against the wall, the indentation to where it was, in the original basement now. And so it's a fascinating place, built in 1776.
Let me ask you, how do you deal with skepticism? You've seen so much. You have done so much. There's a lot of skeptics out there that unless they're hit right between the eyes with something, they don't believe it's there. So how do you deal with this?
Well, I have a skeptical approach myself. Even though I've done it this long, I still do. If it doesn't come out and touch me, talk to me, I can't see it. It's not breathing on me.
Yeah.
It's not there. I don't want to crank up the volume of an EVP so much that I think I'm hearing something. I have to actually hear it. So I go by the skeptic's point of view, and I understand that there are skeptics when it comes to the spirit world, and ghost is kind of like a funny term. But, when you come, let's say we're looking for, I like to call it energy. We're looking for energy.
Right.
And let's feel the power. Let's feel the power of the spirit world. How do we do that? How can I show that to people who are skeptical when I'm at a convention? I only have a short amount of time, maybe each person. And I do it like this. What I do is I have a routine where I spray my white sage that I make here at home, and I say a prayer, and I harness the power of the spirit world, and I put it in sort of like the dowsing rod.
Right.
And into the dowsing rods, and people hold the dowsing rods, and they ask questions, and we see if we can get them to move. But in the meantime, we're not standing near a pipe full of water. We're not standing near electricity. We're not standing near outside where they can blow on their own. I don't like the dowsing rods, the sheaths on them, because they wiggle too much. I want them to hold them firmly, and I want them to feel them heat up. I want them to feel the electricity going down their arms. I want them to answer questions and have the rods move on their own. I just lift my hands up, and I don't touch them. I let them do the work. I just kind of guide that energy that goes into them with my hands. And it has made the biggest skeptic a believer, because I don't know how I'm able to do it. I have no idea why I have this gift that I'm able to harness that and give them a live experience like that without the help of, let's say, a psychic medium, a middleman. A psychic medium interprets what the spirits say, and they give it back to you. And I think that's cool. That's great. I would rather have a direct connection and hear it myself, or have questions answered myself. Like Yusuf Alton from the Game of Thrones, I worked with him at the Granite State Comic-Con, and he was so intrigued. He came over to me and he said, "Why are all these people crying?" Even security came over. Is everybody all right? And they're going, I don't believe it. I contacted my pet. I contacted my wife. I asked her a question, and I got the answer. I knew the answer, And so Yusuf came over, and he wanted to do the dowsing rods. And I said, "You sure you really want to do these?" And he said, "Yeah." So I did it for him, and he said I could take pictures of him doing it, and I could put it up. And he asked some questions. He needed answers from a friend that passed away, and he got the answers he needed. And he's written to me since then, and he's a firm believer in this after he felt that energy just buzz in those rods, and give him what he needed to help with his closure, and also his friend's daughters, their closure as well. So that's how I do it when I'm on the convention circuit.
Cece, you and I have to take a commercial break. Please stand by. Exonation. Cece Carole, also known as, here, I'm going to try this again, Kadrolsha Ona, Queen of the Paranormal, is our guest. How did I do that time?
Excellent.
I feel like some galumpki now and some pierogi and...
Oh, you want galumpkis and pierogis and frusk and...
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
you see, my mother's Polish.
Oh, moja droga, ja cię kocham.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you
You see, we spoke French at home because we were born in Quebec, and I only knew. You see, I only knew how to order food, which I'm very good at, I'm told.
Yes, you're very good. I understood it.
So please stand by, Cece. You and I will be back in a couple of minutes. And X Zone Nation, we're going to give you all the information on how you can contact Cece. Visit her great site. Read the work she's done, and you'll understand why she is truly the queen of the paranormal. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. We'll be back on the other side of the short commercial break as we continue live and around the world from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network and Starcom Radio Network. Manifestation is driven by imagination, intent, and passion. In our culture, all three have been distorted and disabled by modern media and exploitation. Re-engage your imagination and your passion by entering into the world of paranormal romance. Kahir O'Donnell takes her readers on an exciting journey into the endless possibilities of loving, passionate, and mutually respectful male-female relationship. Her latest book, The Long Dark Night, features special ops adventure, a daring rescue, a psychic woman from the stars, and a special agent that will die to protect her. The Long Dark Night by Kahira O'Donnell is now available at kahiraodonnell.com or amazon.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Do you think you have energy problems in your home? Do you feel better when you're away than when you're home? Joey Korn is a global leader in the world of dowsing who specializes in personal energy clearing and space clearing. He can help you create an ideal energy environment in your home no matter where you live in the world. Learn about his remote spiritual house cleaning services and much more at www.dowsers.com. You can get Joey's book, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment, as well as other dowsing books and tools, Kabbalah books, and Walter Russell books. Joey's work is really amazing. Go to dowsers.com right now. That's DOWSERS.com or call 1-877-DOWSING. That's 1-877-369-7464. One Florida drug dealer made a serious mistake when he dared peddle his poisons on the schoolyard of Robert W. Morgan's preteen daughter. Morgan, a budding film director, tracked him to his hidden Everglades lair where his meth lab mysteriously blew sky high. When Morgan's demands to police to make grammar school playgrounds safer from drugs were ignored, he sought the counsel of CIA operative Frank Sturgis. Again, he was warned to give up what was becoming an obsession. Instead, Robert used his reputation as a filmmaker to infiltrate the mafia by stroking their egos and offering to make films for them offshore so they could import them as foreign product without paying taxes. When they agreed to build him a studio in Panama, Robert called the DEA and FBI and offered to work undercover. In time, their combined efforts revealed how the mob was secretly laundering billions of dollars through the Vatican Bank in Rome before returning to the States as foreign investments. Now read Morgan's story, Citizen Spy, Vatican Cover-Up, The Mob, Money Laundering, and Murder, available at Amazon.com, BN.com, and Borders.com. Ever wondered if your advertising dollar is really working for you? If your ad would have been here, you and more than 4 million people would be listening to it right now. Contact ads at XZoneRadioTV.com. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about the paranormal tonight. With us is Kadrolsha Ona Carole. Ah, there you go.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, the one and only Queen of the Paranormal herself has graced us with her royal presence here tonight in the X Zone. And Cece, it's always great talking to you, my dear. Tell me, Cece, why do you think in the year 2015, people are still so interested in ghost hauntings, things that go bump in the night, poltergeist, Bigfoot, werewolves, vampires, and the rest of the paranormal topics?
Why do I think they're so interested in it?
Yeah, still.
Because there are no answers to it.
You know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, great TV show. Mm-hmm. Great ratings. The Walking Dead, there's another one, Zombies.
Yes.
It seems that there are more and more of these pseudo-paranormal shows that are coming out, and there's a lot more of the homemade reality shows that are leaving the networks.
Yes. Yes, that's absolutely true. Like I said, getting back to why are they interested?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are no answers, and I don't think I hope they will find answers. And I also think that it gives people who are on the fringes of reality a way to express themselves. A lot of people like to dress up and express themselves. I see this at a lot of the Comic-Cons, but it goes even farther than that, because being the queen of the paranormal, I have quite a few people that come to me to talk to me about, energy transferring when it comes to, like, an energy draining vampire and stuff like that. And then, you feel them, can I shake your hand? Can I touch your arm? And you know what they're trying to do. They're trying to zap your energy, but they can't seem to do it with me. It's really weird. And they're all like freaked out, like, what is with you? So it's an ever-changing field, and I don't know if they're ever going to find all the answers that they want to find or not. I think 98% of all paranormal experiences are just a bunch of bull. I think it's the 2% we look for. And the rest, maybe it's somebody on medication.
If somebody contacts you, CC, and invites you to do a paranormal investigation at a place that they believe in their heart of hearts that there is paranormal activity, how do you and those that you bring with you, how do you conduct your investigation?
I'm not in a team, number one, so I wouldn't be bringing anybody with me. I would be coming by myself. But I'd first ask them, I'd have a series of questions. I'd cull all the information and try to figure out what's going on before you get there to see if you even have to go, number one. You have to ask what medical conditions they might have. You have to ask, what different shows do they like on TV when it goes hunting? That's a real good question, because a lot of people just want that 15 minutes of fame. And so you have to be really careful. Other people really, really think that there's something going on in their home. In fact, they believe it so much that it doesn't matter what you tell them, they're just going to be fixated on something's going on in their home. And it could be something simple as they have, let's say, radon in the basement. They have, they live near power lines. It could be mold, like black mold.
Oh, big time,
It could be a whole bunch of different things that people aren't even aware. It could be their medications, could be sleep apnea, could be obesity. It could be going through menopause. It could be a woman, having her period. It could be the death of a spouse, or the death of a partner, or death of somebody, of a pet, where you miss them so much that all of a sudden the feelings and the dreams and everything are so real, you swear you're having maybe sex with your partner again, or you feel that embrace again, and you wake up and it's gone, and you think it might be, incubus or succubus or something like that. But in reality, what it is I think that's normal. You're lonely. Everyone loves to be held. Everybody likes that. And you go back and you think of those things. That doesn't mean there's somebody haunting your house. And I often tell people when they talk about demons, and in the paranormal, it goes from ghosts, then it goes to demons. And everybody's got a demon. Yeah. And I just tell them, and I have had paranormal groups usually call me to consult on cases more than people call me to go into their homes. And because a lot of paranormal groups, they get too close. Like, you can't see the forest for the trees. They've already been there a few times. They have a relationship with the family, and so they all of a sudden can't see it. So they'll call me and ask me, well, there's a demon. They got this, they got that. And I tell them, look, call the news. Call the 5 o'clock news. Have them come over. If the demon's there, the head's still going to be spinning, or books flying off the shelf. That's it. And they go, well, how can you say that's so matter-of-fact and cruel? I say, because that's the truth. Because demons are so incredibly rare. And as far as the devil, what the heck does he want with you? He's looking for 9/11 or something. This is ridiculous. And as far as like Catholic religion goes, with the demons and people going through exorcisms, they have a standard. They have to have witnesses that sit there and write down what they have witnessed to the sum of 50 to 70 witnesses. That's why I say call the news. Get that news camera on them and have everything swinging around. And then you may get the church to come down and figure out what's going on here, because now you have all your witnesses. And a lot of it could be, again, looking for attention or something. And, a lot of times you get this, the spirit scratched me. I was all scratched up. And I'm looking, going, I didn't know they had fingernails. Number one, that's to me. I don't think they're scratching you with fingernails. I think maybe their energy might be so hot, almost like a laser during an operation. They might reach out and touch you, and you might get heat mark, maybe. But even those are rare. So you would have to ask, again, series of questions, go over medication, go over the kids in the house. Can I speak to the children? You ask them what kind of, ghost shows you watch, what do you like, and, like that. And before you know it, you can probably get a good idea of what really is going on over there. And most of the time, people just need attention. They want someone to talk to that they can try to convince us there's something going on in their home and to be taken seriously. We all of a sudden become like counselors.
I'd be telling them to call the Church of Mormon because they love coming over and talking to you.
Yeah, just call somebody. Call a psychic hotline.
Yeah,
there you go. They'll
there
tell you what's wrong with your house.
Yeah. Exactly. Cece, what is your personal take on the Amityville case?
Oh, Jesus. My personal take on that.
Right.
I would have to say I half-heartedly don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And leave it like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I would get, I have haters and stalkers as it is. I've been attacked and stabbed already.
You're kidding.
So I guess no, I'm serious.
Why?
In fact, that the picture I sent you with no makeup, that was the bandage of where the stab, one of the stab wounds was. I do healing, and I went out into healing, and there was a gentleman waiting for me. I made a mistake. I told people where I was going to be, and I would be there for like 5 minutes, very briefly, if you'd like to join me. And I saw a gentleman, and I thought for sure he just came early, but no, he attacked me, and in front of my daughter, and no. I ended up in urgent care. The ER, and I got my wounds taken care of. But to this day, they have no idea who did it. My belief is that someone, through maybe the green-eyed monster jealousy, over on internet or Facebook, whipped somebody up to come up and do their dirty work. That's how I'm looking at it, because I wouldn't know why anybody would in a million years do that to me. But you do have haters, on especially the paranormal community on Facebook, a lot of drama. And the fact that I'm doing a lot of work and maybe a few feel that they should be, then you get this like rivalry, and they come out and try to do things to you. So
there's even so you're being cyberbullied as well.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
And documented. It is crazy, and it's very scary because you have a family. I had one woman, she broadcasted where I lived and stuff. I ended up moving. I would have to say, because of the people you deal with in the paranormal, again, they may have psychological problems, untreated, not medicated, or off their medication, and they're seeing and hearing things, and they feel the paranormal person is who they need to talk to. And so I think you have a lot of people like that follow you around, that become the stalkers and that become the over-obsessed fans.
Let's talk about the internet for a second here, because it plays into what we're talking about here tonight. Is the internet an asset or a pain in the butt when it comes to real investigations of the paranormal?
I would say it's for real investigations of the paranormal, shut off the computer, get off your butt, get in the car, go to the location, get a hold of the historical the archives, go to the library, go to the town offices, look at the census, the old census they used to have. Get out and do your homework. You're just going to get a brief description or a rumored description on Google or Bing or anywhere. You really need to do the research yourself to see it for yourself and not go by someone else's work, because how do you know they didn't follow something on Google or some other paranormal investigative team's work? I say go there and find it for yourself. And it is hard to find. That's why they call it research.
That's right.
That's why working in this field and being good at this field for so many years and been traveling and representing the field, you really got to do your research. And you have to do it the right way, especially if you're a woman or a newcomer, because they just tear you apart. You know, they're just waiting for something that you do wrong, so they, I guess, take it off the throne.
That's true. You know, there's something I can't understand, Cece. Look, I'm an ex-cop, you're an ex-cop. We used to share information. That's how crimes are solved. You share information. We weren't in it for the glory. Yeah, sure, we loved being part of the arrest, but the object was to get the bad guy. Why don't the people within the paranormal community, whether it's ghosts or whether it's the search for Bigfoot or the quest for extraterrestrial existence, they don't share. They're very, they hold their hands very close to their hearts.
There could be several reasons. It's a highly competitive industry. They don't want people to know what they have. They want to be the first ones to put it out. I think they should be. Whoever finds something, be the first one to acknowledge it and then share your results with other people. It's still your results. The other thing is you've cheated. You've made up your results. The whole thing's fake, and that's why you don't want anybody to know. That could be it too. Because I've heard paranormal people saying they had all these hundreds and hundreds of cases a year, and I'm thinking, really?
Yeah.
How many days in a year? And you've done how many investigations? I don't know. Then they write all these books in 1 year. Well, geez, that was quick. I don't know. So there are reasons why people won't share. They won't share because they don't want you to know, because maybe it wasn't done correctly, and they don't want to be called out that they didn't do their work correctly. If they did do their work correctly, I have seen people share their work, and those are the ones that research, that take the time to really do the investigations, and I mean travel. You live in, let's say, Maine or New Hampshire, Massachusetts. You want to do something in Florida. You don't do it online. You go to Florida, and you really take the time to, write your letters through the internet to the different historical societies. So when you meet with them, you can have your information. Then do your investigation, and find that the people who are more, I'm not going to say well-known, but I could say more reputable, would share their information if you need anything. You'll say, hey, we've done that. Do you want to look at our records or whatnot?
Over the years, what, in your opinion, has been the biggest breakthrough when it comes to the investigation of the paranormal?
Could you just ask me that again? My earbuds were acting up.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, dear. Since you've been doing investigations of the paranormal, what has been the most significant breakthrough, in your opinion, into the investigating of the unknown?
I think it's all the crazy equipment they come up with. And I think some of the stuff is really sharp. But then again, all this equipment is based on one thing and one thing alone, and that's a transference of energy. And you can use the simple dowsing rods for that. Yeah. And what we're doing now with the high-tech equipment is what we're doing is merely verifying what we've already known 200 years ago without electricity, that these spirits do exist. We do see them. They try to communicate. And, you get your high-tech stuff, and I think it's great. It's a great industry. It sells a lot and make a lot of money. But is it better than anything else? Is it better than feeling the energy with your hands or having that intuition that God gave you? I don't know. I just think it's a great way to sell a product and get a newfangled gadget. I think it's all good, and that, look at it. I like to play with that equipment myself. But I do like the old standards with doing dowsing, and I heard the commercial about the gentleman that does dowsing cleansings, and I'm all for that. I'm all for the old school. I do like that.
Cece, the time has come when you and I must say so long for this short period of time, my dear friend. Let our listeners know about your website and how they can find out more about the one and only Cece Carole, who is also known now by her Polish name, Kadrolsha Ona Queen.
Yes, that's right. And they go to my website. It's queenoftheparanormal.com. Also, Queen of the Paranormal is trademarked and branded for things that we're doing in the future. Mm-hmm. So queenoftheparanormal.com. You can read about my movie career, how I was the first paranormal person of name to play a pivotal cameo role in a classic horror motion picture, which is coming out this November, is being premiered, called Toxic Tutu.
Wow.
It's a takeoff from the Toxic Avenger and all the movies that went with that. Mark Torgl starred in that movie. Mm-hmm. And this is 30 years later, what happened to the stars. And I was the one, I played Kadrolsha Ona, Queen of the Paranormal, taking how did 30 years pass, and now here we are. So it was a pivotal role, it was a good role, and the ratings on IMDb are great for that movie. It's going to be huge.
I know you're going to be very successful because you are truly the queen of the paranormal, and I thank you so much for joining us tonight, Cece. Always great talking to you. And
thank you. Good talking to you.
Just continued success, and keep them honest out there.
I will. I'll do. They don't like it, but that's just the way it goes. I will.
And be safe, my dear friend.
You too, dear.
Thanks very much, Cece. Take care. Bye-bye now. Exonation, Cece Carole. And I must say that she is truly a queen of a lady as well. She is very, very well known. She is very well respected. And she deserves the title of Queen of the Paranormal. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at the top of the hour as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. This is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. until midnight on the Starcom Radio Network and the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Again, if you'd like to find out more about Cece Carole, www.queenoftheparanormal.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.